Hello everybody, hope you're doing really well. Standing behind me, we're about to do it, finally, for the channel. We're going to talk about the history of this iconic bit of Kent landscape and history. We're talking about Reculver Towers. Stay with me, let's enjoy it on this crisp morning. Take care, let's go do it, come on. If you were able to define what would be an iconic piece of history located in Kent, then you would be hard pushed to think of anywhere more beautiful than Reculver Towers. Situated on the North Kent coast, these towers have hung precariously on the side of an ever-eroding coastline that is testament to the power of nature and the way the sea swallows all in its path. The towers themselves are from the 12th century in origin, having been on a previous Roman fortified site, which you can still walk its outer walls. The Romans left in the 5th century, and by that time the fort had already been out of use. But in regards of the site leading up to what you see now, it really started religious use when the Saxons in 669 had built a monastery, which was dedicated to St Mary, in which they reused the defences and the existing site. By 1066 the monastery would become a parish church, as well as the surrounding area turning into an ever-growing, rich and profitable area, due to it being on a maritime trade route through the Wantsum Channel. It was, however, in the late 16th century that Reculver was slowly being reshaped due to coastal erosion and an ever-declining population, with residents moving to nearby Hillborough. It was by the 18th century that the village had become practically abandoned. It was in the early 19th century when numerous storms and unrelenting erosion had led to the decision to demolish it in September 1809, however, leaving the towers to be used as a navigational aid. The site now is managed by English Heritage, and with so much rich history that has fallen into the sea, what's left is a timely reminder of how so much history can be lost to the sea, never to be seen again. Well, hello, hope you're doing really well. So yeah, I was thinking about this the other day and I was thinking this has to be the place in all of Kent that I've actually probably visited the most. I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many times I've been here, but it's easily in the sort of 20s to 30s range. And every time I come here, you park up, it's always different. For example, today there are signs for like they're doing some renovation on the towers, or they were anyway, which is where you see all this sort of evidence of them working, and there's a little sign there talking about restoration. But I tell you what, it is so peaceful here today, and it's just this sort of crisp coldness that hits you, and the sound of the seagulls and the sea as it laps against the rocks, as you can attest to down there. Absolutely incredible, just those sounds. It's probably one of the main reasons why I come here as much as I do. And normally, if I show you what I normally do, I'll park up, have a look at Reculver, and then of course, as is customary when you're here, you go down to the beach and then you do your little rock pooling, because it's famous around here for these little rock pools, you know. And even as a fully grown adult, I still enjoy seeing those little bits of wildlife that are in there, and you know, just nature again, isn't it? It just really symbolises it. But hopefully you enjoyed your history lesson, and let me just walk you around it. So as you can see, it is just these, I mean, they're iconic. They are literally, if you type in Kent history or Kent heritage, 9 times out of 10 these will come up as a sort of image, because it just literally, it is iconic. And you know, I do think to myself how lucky I am sometimes living in Kent, that we have such amazing places like this that are still here, you know. So obviously they've done, that's new, I'm assuming, to try and reinforce the wall. But yeah, it's brilliant, it's beautiful. It's not the biggest thing in the world ever, but as I always say in every single video, that's not the point. Because sometimes it's just about where its position is, or the rich history in which it contains itself. And obviously over there we've got the fort, and then the fort wall that's down there as well. And I'm sure, you know, if you saw my paranormal video on this place, I mentioned about the incredible sort of paranormal tales. I won't talk about them today because you can watch that video, but it really just encompasses the whole aspect of how important and how much of a legacy this place has. And I keep sort of saying to people, there's every possibility that in years, whatever, depending on how bad, if we get storms or anything else, that there's every possibility that because of how close this overhangs, it could easily fall into the sea at some point. And the other thing you've got to imagine is that really Reculver is a tip of something that where the land stretched far, far, far out into what we can see is the sea now, but it did stretch out really far. And obviously, as with everything, with erosion and obviously time, more importantly, that sort of takes it away from us. And to appreciate how bad that erosion is, you do have to sort of get right down onto the ground level where the beach is and really look at it from that and see the erosion. They've obviously, I mean, there was always rumours if they've tried to reinforce it, the erosion that's here, so you can see what they've done as this sort of fortified it, really shored it up. But you know, nature and time do funny things, and obviously his testament to this place is that really, even now, they're still having to make changes to it, and it's really because of its makeup of what it's made up of. I mean, you forget how old this place is. You've got these tiling sort of bricks, obviously the sort of Roman parts of it, you've got the parts of the Saxon, you've got all these different phases within this church. And actually, it's probably, let's have a look at it. If I show you what I'm trying to sort of talk about in a very sort of subtle way, is that if we look at the far part of this, there's rubble. There used to be quite a lot, actually. There used to be like little flecks. In fact, you can sort of see them. But there used to, I suppose it probably depends, doesn't it? But it's so brittle, all of this. I still am surprised what is here still stands, but like I said, you know, they do such a good job of trying to sort of maintain it and preserve it. Because literally, if you are from Kent and you haven't visited these yet, you've got to go. You've got to go. All it costs is a bit of parking, and that's it. And to make some incredible memories. And what I love about this, let me show you, is that you've got. Now, I'm always a bit picky about information boards, but I think these ones are brilliant. And it talks about the Anglo-Saxon church. And it gives you a reconstruction, and they're really informative on here. And then if we look through, let me take you around here. Little guided tour for everybody. If you look through, you can see all these different information boards. This one talks about the fort, so let's just have a quick look at this whilst we're here. And obviously by the coast it's a little bit of wind, so I do apologise if that comes out in the camera. But yeah, look, it talks about the fort's headquarters. Ahead of you. See, it says the headquarters of the building, the administrative, God blimey, and symbolic centre of the fort where all military business and ceremony took place. And it's hard to imagine when you're up here, but it is literally in a rectangle, and you can see the fort wall down there. In fact, I will take you to that anyway, but that was where I was standing, and if you've watched the Paranormal Reculver one, that's where I did my intro and outro on the wall that's literally down there, and follows back round really to the pub. Yeah. And then obviously there's more history the further along you go as well. I mean, it's interesting because it's not just this specific area that contains history. There's so much more along this coastline, and I'm sure, and they're quite small stories, but I'm sure at some point I will do more for you on those. But I mean, let's be honest, it's taken me this long to finally do this one. Can you believe it? Oh dear. I just wanted to wait for the right time, and I just really sort of thought to myself, no, I'm gonna do it on my terms when I come here and film it. And it's not too busy here, because even when I was doing the paranormal one here, it was quite busy, and I don't really like filming when it's busy for obvious reasons. But enough of me jabbering on. Just need to enjoy this, don't we? Oh, that sound of the sea lapping against the shore is so peaceful, and those seagulls as well. Really lovely. My debate, however, for today is I'm not sure what I'm going to do after this. I'm not sure whether I'm going to go to Faversham for my little sort of interest and have a coffee there, or do I go to Whitstable and have a coffee there, because I love Whitstable. But the reason why I say that is because maybe you might want to do that. Do you go to Faversham or do you go to Whitstable? What would you do? Let me know in the comments below. You know, obviously Whitstable's a given because it's just a trendy place these days, isn't it? But Faversham's really nice and very underrated. So I'm not sure. I could do both, I suppose. It's on the way home for me, so being a Western Kent lad. But yeah, you can't beat it. And the thing is, where you park down there, you can literally just walk up. It's really easy, and it just stands out. You can actually see it on the M2 as well as you go across. Obviously on your way to Ramsgate, Margate and Broadstairs, etc. But yeah, it really is beautiful. And even when you drive down, you can see it. Again, proving the point that was always mentioned about churches, the idea that they were meant to be on a high point so that everybody could see it, and obviously the bells and everything else could be heard if they were rung, if on churches they were rung. But it just proves an amazing point of erosion. It proves the point of memories for me, memories for all of you out there, because it is just one of these iconic places that I'm sure all of you have got very specific memories of. In fact, for me here, I've probably got too many. But yeah, I was thinking about, before I've made this one today, I thought to myself, well, I'm pretty sure this is the place that I've visited the most. I'm sort of tallying it up, thinking, well, it must be about 30 odd times. I mean, I come here at least once a year. And in fact, even as recording this will be second time this year for me, because obviously I did the paranormal video here as well. So yeah, but see, it's just an iconic place to me. So many memories, and all of them good. I don't have any negative memories of this place, which is brilliant. Every one, you know. And it's what it represents, isn't it? That these historic places aren't just historic in the historical context of things, but they're historic on our own timelines, me and you, you know. Oh, just that sound, love it. Let's keep looking around, come on. Right, so here we are standing at the back, and we're looking at these wonderful foundations, which I do think sometimes when people are here, they may not be able to sort of realise how much of a structured layout it still exists on this site. I can't tell you how many people I've seen picnic at the far end. I think I've seen it all here, you know. But see, the sun is trying to desperately break through the clouds to try and give us a little bit of extra sunlight coming down on here, but really it doesn't need it. It's just such a glorious thing. I often say, I've often mentioned actually about this, and there's actually a video on YouTube. There might be a couple of videos now, I haven't looked really, but there's an amazing video here of somebody who was sitting in the car park and there was like a thunderstorm, and as the thunderstorm was coming over, it was illuminating the back of Reculver Towers. Hopefully that video's still up online. I don't know who did it, but it was amazing. There might be more than one on that, and I think to myself, like, that's the one thing that I've always wanted to do, is, even though I'm not a big fan of thunder and lightning, I love to park here and just sort of just experience a storm of thunder and lightning coming over. And I feel the same way about Dungeness. Some of you might, you know, the Romney Marsh area, just sort of parking up at Dungeness near the lighthouse and just witnessing a storm come over the sea. I've always wanted to do that, sort of a bucket list thing, but unfortunately you can't necessarily time these things, and because I'm not local to either, you know, by the time I go down there it's probably past. But there you go. The iconic Reculver Towers with the fort. Now all I'm going to do quickly is just show you around the fort briefly, and that's it. But oh, I love it. I so love it here. But yeah, let me know in the comments, what would you do? Would you go to Faversham or would you go to Whitstable for your coffee? Let me know. And maybe next time I'm here, obviously not filming it, but next time I'm here, I may be able to go to one of your recommended places. But yeah. Right, let's check out the fort. Come on. Right, so here I am again, depending on if you've watched a paranormal video, walking alongside, shall we say, the Roman wall that was here. And if you look closely, you might be able to see that here, you can see that where they've done the repairs, and that's what I noticed when I was here last time. They were trying to sort of shore this up again to stop it from crumbling, and you know, unfortunately we know that things like this are very fragile. But you know, this is why we've got to document history, to keep it for what it's worth and everything else, you know. Such an amazing part of preservation that all of us do, you know, and whether you've got a camera or whether you've got a video camera or whatever you record it on, you're providing a sort of form of documentation, you know, time capsule. Like I said, there's no better place to do it than here. And even though there's many videos and many like photos here, you'll never forget it in a hurry. So yeah, well, I'm going to end where I started. Beautiful, isn't it? I really hope you had a lovely time coming along with me. And we explored it together, and I sort of showed you and sort of geeked you out a little bit more on my personal journey with this. Because like what we said before, these places contain a lot of memories within us when we explore them. And maybe that's the moral of this one for today, that even places like this, as historic as they are in their own right, can still be historic for us, the memories that we create when we visit them. Right, in the immortal words of Phoenix History, thank you so much for watching. Take care, feel free to spread the word of the channel. Much love to all of you out there, because history matters, doesn't it just? Look after yourselves, and I'll see you all very soon. Goodbye for now. Kapow.